UK, man. UK, it's been a while, man. It's been a while. As I've said, man, I've been saying in these videos, man, I'm so happy that I have this channel so I can get to some UK joints. You know what I'm saying? Y'all held us down. Y'all been holding us down for years. We know we have a lot of big UK fans on on my Lost in Vegas channel. I don't know why I'm pointing over here and shit. On my other channel, Lost in Vegas. And I've been getting some requests on Rhyme Rate from some UK cats. So, man, shout out to all my UK subs that kind of traveled from Lost in Vegas to Rhyme Rate to show support to your boy. I chose Chapter 16 because we have been getting requests for Kano for years. We just have never had a chance to get to anything regarding Kano. This just piqued my interest. I don't really know too much about him. I literally just wikied Kano before I cut this video on. It looks like he's been doing his thing. Old school cat from the UK scene, grime scene. He's been doing his thing, since the early 2000s. That's really it. That's all I know. And in addition to that, I know that we've been getting requests for him. So, and I know this album, man, when it dropped, I remember getting so many requests for this whole album. Like, everybody's like, you got to do the whole album. Just do it. It's amazing. It got a lot of, apparently a lot of critical acclaim, a lot of love for this, man. And Dave, we rock with Dave, man. So The Boy Who Played the Harp is the name of the album that came out in October of last year. So let's see what's going on, man. Let's get right to it. I'm curious about this, man. I know Dave has had a significant history, at least on my other channel, Lost in Vegas. So I'm curious to see, how he did on this album. It's always a journey with Dave. He's always pushing his pen, pushing his artistry. So I don't expect this to be any different. Let's get into it. Dave featuring Kano, Chapter 16.
Yesterday, he can convert. I just plan for.
Why you on the 52nd floor just to take the piss? And somehow we've had to deal with higher stakes than this. You're the reason that I take the risk. Had me on your tour team. I studied you since I was 14. I wanna know what life was like in your teens. We shared dreams. And even when we shared screens, I couldn't get no FaceTime. I got questions like, how'd you do it? Do you have regrets? Like, what's your life like? See, mine was like the sun.
Okay. Let's slow down. Let's the way it came. So let me just process what's happening here. Dave is at a restaurant, right? Looks like at a fancy little luxury restaurant with Kano, and they're eating dinner. And he starts off by saying "Wagyu" on the 52nd floor just to take the piss. I know "take the piss." I think that's having that's UK slang for having a conversation. Shoot the shit. We say shoot the shit in the U.S. So I'm assuming that's what that means, And then he says somehow we've had to deal with higher stakes than this. So Wagyu on the 52nd floor just to take the piss, and somehow we've had to deal with higher stakes than this. Little homophone with stakes and, STEAKS and then STAKE stakes, because they're on the 52nd floor, so they're eating steak high instead of a high place. But also they've had to deal with higher stakes with pressures and all that other stuff. I'm assuming rising up the ranks in the rap game. Okay, I just want to get myself prepared because the way it came in, it caught me off guard. But that's dope though. I think I know where it's going, and we'll see what they do with it. Let's keep it going.
Setting, pray the moonshine, it's the prohibition, no ignition.
Let me pull that back. Hold on. Let me pull that back, bro.
Highest
Yesterday, he can convert. I just plan for.
Why you on the 52nd floor just to take the piss? And somehow we've had to deal with higher stakes than this. You're the reason that I take the risk. Had me on your tour team. I studied you since I was 14. I wanna know what life was like in your teens. We shared dreams. And even when we shared screens, I couldn't get no FaceTime. I got questions like, how'd you do it? Do you have regrets? Like, what's your life like? See, mine was like the sun setting. Pray the moonshine, it's the prohibition, no ignition. Ran for two parties, it's the coalition. Run with Red Bull, like Max Verstappen, but the race is different, taste is different. It's adult dances in my pole positions, young as dying, like they say the game.
Hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some pimp in it. No, let me try. Yo, listen, Dave, he was getting off right there. Hold on. Because I'm just, again, I'm still in the mode of tracking what's going on. So Kano, I read before I cut the video on that he's an old school rapper from the UK scene, right? The UK grime scene. And it looks like Dave is sort of like, the way he's talking to him, he said I guess Dave was on Kano's tour team. He said, had me on your tour team. I studied you since I was 14. So this is basically the young protege that became the guy, right? We know Dave is a big deal now. And it seems like he's talking to his mentors, what it looks like. Yeah, you had me on your tour team. I studied you since I was 14. And then he's asking questions. I want to know what life was like in your teens. We shared dreams. And even when we shared screens, I couldn't get no FaceTime. So even when we shared screens, I couldn't get no FaceTime. I think I read in the wiki, I think Dave and I want to say Dave and Kano were on, what was it, Top Boy? So I don't know if that's a play on them being on the show Top Boy. But also if you share, when you FaceTime, you're sharing screens, right? You know what I'm saying? You're on screen, they're on screen. But even when we shared screens, I couldn't get no FaceTime. So it seems like he couldn't get, I guess, have a conversation with Kano. So even when they were sort of acting together, it was tough to get a word in. Maybe they were busy. I don't know what was going on there. So that slick wordplay. So, this is dope. This is dope. Okay. This whole referencing your mentor, or I'm trying to think if there's like really anyone that's done it like this. I know Kanye made the song Big Brother, in regards to Jay-Z on College Dropout. J. Cole made the song Let Nas Down. It's not the same thing as this, but it is sort of like acknowledging your mentor, someone, your idol that you look up to. Not obviously in a conversational format where Dave seems to be asking for advice or giving him his flowers or what have you. But this is really unique. This is interesting. Yeah, I'm tapped in now. But he was rapping. Let me pull it back because he said something about pole position, Max Verstappen or something like that, and I'm assuming that's a racer for Red Bull. It was a lot of little slick shit. Let me pull it back.
Higher stakes than this. You're the reason that I take the risk. Had me on your tour team. I studied you since I was 14. I wanna know what life was like in your teens. We shared dreams. Then even when we shared screens, I couldn't get no FaceTime. I got questions like, how'd you do it? Do you have regrets? Like, what's your life like? See, mine was like the sun setting. Pray the moonshine, it's the prohibition, no ignition. Ran for 2 parties, it's the coalition. Rum and Red Bull, like Max Verstappen, but the race is different, taste is different. It's adult dances in my pole positions, young as dying.
All that was nasty right there. All of that. You know what I'm saying? When he said I got questions like, how'd you do it? So he's just asking him questions like, how'd you get to where you got to? How'd you navigate? Maybe just, the rap game. But when he said, what's your life? He said, what's your life like? Then he said, see, mine was like the sun setting. Pray the moonshine. It's like the prohibition. No ignition. So moonshine, prohibition. Prohibition is where alcohol was outlawed, illegal. So you couldn't have moonshine. Moonshine was like one of the, the alcoholic beverages or what have you that people would kind of sneak in, right? They would sneak in illegally. But it was prohibited for you to drink alcohol. And he said no ignition. So he was waiting for his time to shine is how I'm taking that. No ignition. He didn't have any motion at that point. No ignition like a car, like the ignition is off, right? So I think that's his way of saying, I was like it was like the sunset and I was just waiting for my time to shine is how I'm taking that. Then he said ran for 2 parties like the coalition, Rum and Red Bull like Max Verstappen, but the race is different. Taste is different. It's adult dances in my pole position. That shit right there was crazy, though. I'm assuming, Max Verstappen, I'm assuming that's a racer, right? Looks like he races, maybe Red Bull sponsors him. I don't know who that is, but that just makes sense with the bar. But the race is different. Could be a play on race, as in his race, who he is. The race is different. I come from a different set of circumstances. You know what I'm saying? But it was dancers in my pole position. I came from, maybe in the ends going to strip clubs. Maybe that's just the life that he lived. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come from the same race as Max Verstappen. And it was like rum and Red Bull, so I'm assuming he's talking about drinking rum and Red Bull in a strip club, even though rum and Red Bull sponsored Max Verstappen in the race. So I see the play there with that. Okay. Really, really dope.
It's like, what's your life like? See, mine was like the sun setting. Pray the moonshine, it's the prohibition, no ignition. Ran for 2 parties, it's the coalition. Rum and Red Bull, like Max Verstappen, but the race is different, taste is different. It's adult dances in my pole positions. Young as dying, like they saved the game and could reload the mission. Wearing jewelry, heard the plotting on me when I walk my ends in South London. Something you can't teach, straight on common sense. Eating healthy, car we trust our guts more than we trust our friends. Many thoughts,
He's rapping, man. He's rapping. I like when he said youngest is dying. Like they saved the game and they can reload the mission. That's just basically saying like, kids is moving like they got 9 lives. you know, but he's playing on the game like dying in a video game. You could just hit reset, you know what I'm saying, and get another life, right? He said eating healthy because we trust our guts more than we trust our friends. I thought that was slick. Eating healthy, so if you eat healthy, it's good for your gut. It goes into your guts, right? You know what I'm saying? So we trust our guts, as in, you know, but there's the play on trusting your gut, like your intuition, right? So more than we trust our friends, you know what I'm saying? Because people will backstab you. The people closest to you can hurt you the most. That's what they say, right?
Eating healthy, can't we trust our guts more than we trust our friends? Many frauds, lot of men fake, lot of imitators, innovators. Take that shit to heart like defibrillators. Pa, pa, pa. Mothers shed tears and don't sleep for days, weep for days. And killers celebrate with ID parades. Then you got the scene in our face. And this pressure I inherited from you. It sounds funny, but it's true.
That was hard, though. Killers celebrate with ID parades. When you have a parade, it's a celebration, right? An ID parade is essentially you're being lined up. You know, I mean, you get caught, you get jammed up by the police, and they put you in a line, essentially, right? And they're trying to get someone to identify you, right? Is how I'm taking that, like an ID parade, right? But it's a little wordplay there, right? Killers celebrate with ID parades. Like you outside these killers, he went in, he said many frauds, a lot of man fake, a lot of imitators, innovators. Take that shit to heart like defibrillators. So he's just talking about where he's from, South London, where the end, South London, and just, you know, the killers and all that, the conniving people that come from where he comes from. There's frauds, there's a lot of men faking, you know what I mean? A lot of imitators, they take that shit to heart like a defibrillator. Defibrillator helps you, you know, start your heartbeat, right? But he takes it to heart, he takes it personal. What did he say? Mothers shed tears and don't sleep for days, weep for days, right? So mothers shedding tears in these urban environments in London because their kids are dying, right? Or involved in or going to jail, you know, and they celebrate with ID parades, right? Essentially, that's just him saying, man, they're getting lined up by police officers and they get jammed up and going to jail. So really slick wordplay with ID parades. They celebrate. They're not celebrating, right? You know what I'm saying? They getting jammed up and getting locked up. So that was, yeah. He's rapping, man.
And killers celebrate with ID parades. Then you got the C in our face. And this pressure I inherited from you. It sounds funny, but it's true. I loved you on the big screen, but bro, I want you back. Cause what acting game with you, we done lost in rap.
You got a lot of years ahead of you.
Yeah, that was dope. You know, like, so this, yeah, man, it just seems like he looks up to Kano, clearly, right? And he has a lot of sort of reverence for Kano. You know, the way he ended it, you know, he said there's a lot of pressure being a guy, right? He mentioned, you know, walking around South London with jewelry on. What did he say? Wearing jewelry. Heard they plotting on me. Like, so, you know, you getting money, you go back to the hood, they plotting on you. You go back to your home, to your soil, and they're plotting on you. So it's a lot of pressure. I'm assuming he's taking care of his family, you know, and he has a lot of mouths to feed being a famous rapper, you know, and then also just the pressure of being good in music and doing this thing in the music industry. So he said, this pressure I inherited from you. You know what I mean? I looked up to you. So I'm looking for advice from you to help me, right? This pressure I inherited from you. It sounds funny, but it's true. I loved you on the big screen. I'm assuming he's talking about Top Boy or other movies that Kano may be involved in that I'm not aware of. But bro, I want you back because the acting, because what acting gained with you, we done lost in rap. So yeah, you pursued your rap career or your acting career, but we lost. There's a void in hip hop or, you know, in the scene as you've pursued acting. So yeah, dope. I like it.
And this pressure I inherited from you. It sounds funny, but it's true. I loved you on the big screen, but bro, I want you back. Cause what acting game with you, we done lost in rap.
You got a lot of years ahead of you. Some years are worse than you and some are better you. If it's not positive, drop it, the streets residue. But keep a piece of yourself when you're selling you. This game ain't for the throne and kings are checkable. It's to be a better you, envy's inevitable. And please take pics with your friends, cause I'm telling you, this industry attention will sever crews and the sick turns to an addiction of the jealous Jews. They think this
yeah,
you
he
again
rapping.
like you ain't.
Yeah, I know who Kano is now. Yeah, I know who Kano is now because he's rapping. You know what I'm saying? And dropping jewels like he's supposed to. You know what I mean? He's the, you know, he's the elder statesman now, right? You know what I mean? He's the OG. So this is how he's supposed to come. You know what I mean? He said you got a lot of years ahead of you. Some years are worse than you. Some will better you. So you're gonna go through ups and downs, but you'll learn from it, right? You know, sometimes, you know, maybe betrayal, maybe whatever that is involved in being a famous rapper with all the pressure that Dave spoke of, right? What comes with that is there's a price to pay for that, right? Some negative things that can make you a little bit colder, but also some other things that maybe you learn from those things and you can eventually, you know, become a better, more well-rounded person as a result of it. But yeah, dope. But what he said, if it's not positive, drop it. The streets residue. I thought that was like nice too. You know, if you're not gaining anything, if it's not positive, you know, you got to get that street residue off you, man. You know, I thought that was dope. Residue, as in, those ties to the streets that's left over from the streets, because you come from South London. So them little ties from the streets, you got to cut them. You got to sever them, right? He said something about severing crews, but keep a piece of yourself when you're selling you was a nasty line. Oh my goodness. So that's just saying, just remember who you are, you know what I mean? And don't sell your soul. You know what I'm saying? When you are presenting your art to the world, or you are moving and navigating in this industry or whatever, make sure you keep, you make sure you stay authentic, right? To who you are, instead of selling your soul. So keep a piece of yourself, you know what I'm saying? When you're selling you, when you're putting your art out there, and whether that's in the music industry, the acting world, or what have you. I thought that was a really dope line. And he said, this game ain't for the throne, and kings are checkable. Again, the wisdom, the depth in these lines from Kano, man. This game ain't for the throne, and kings are checkable. So that's a chess play. You know, you can check a king. You can put a king in check. But also, like, it's not about being the king. You know what I mean? It's just about, getting up, making your money, feeding your family, taking care of this. It's not about just whatever, pursuing the goal of overthrowing someone, right? But kings are checkable. You know what I mean? I think on some street shit, like, yeah, anybody could get it. You could check a king as in chess, but you can also check someone for getting out of line. You know what I'm saying? So, and kings can be checked. They can be beheaded, right? So, just really slick wisdom, wordplay, all that in there. Very dope from Kano. Yes, I'm happy that he's nice though, because I was like, hopefully he ain't on some bullshit. Hopefully he can rap. You know what I mean? The way y'all been requesting him. But yeah, so far so good from Kano.
And please take pics with your friends, cause I'm telling you, this industry attention will sever crews, and the sick turns to an addiction of the jealous Jews. Then they diss you again like you ain't fed them food. But if you whip colonels front of desperate youths, you christen a Benz, then the devil's due.
Woo! Kano. Oh, woo! Yeah, he's rapping. I like what he's saying, man. And what he's saying is true. After that kings are checkable line, man, he said it's to be a better you. Envy's inevitable. You know what I mean? It's not about trying to overthrow another king or be in contention with some sort of, fantasy spot of whoever the number one rapper. It's really about just being the best you can be, being a better you. I thought that was dope. And he said envy's inevitable, man. It comes with the territory, man, being a famous rapper, right? And please take your pics with your friends, because I'm telling you, the industry attention will sever crews. He said, take pics with your friends, because the industry will sever crews, because I think he turned around and said, and the sip turns to an addiction of the jealous juice. So the minute that the fame, the glitz and glory come into to play, once people get a taste of it, it can divide people, right? Everybody gets jealous, everybody gets envious, everybody wants to have the shine, and that can get in the way of friendship, So I think that's just a way of saying take pics with your friends, meaning try to keep your friends close, is how I'm taking that. But when he said till they dish you again like you ain't fed them food, woo! That was hard. Till they dish you again. So these are people that you put on, your friends, your crew, right? And then, so that you put food on their plate, right? That's an old saying. Like, look, you helped them make money, which allowed them to feed their families. And then they turn around and dish you like you ain't fed them food. What do they say? Don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? That's an old saying. That was a hard line.
Friends, cause I'm telling you, this industry attention will sever crews, and the sick turns to an addiction of the jealous Jews. Then they diss you again like you ain't fed them food. But if you whip colonels front of desperate youths, you christen a Benz, then the devil's due.
Yeah. That line was hard too. When you whip Cullinans, you know what I'm saying? It's a luxury car, right? I think it's a Rolls Royce. I think is the Cullinan. If you whipping that in front of desperate youths, right? When you driving around the hood in front of the wolves, basically, what do you think is gonna happen? When you driving around the wolves and they're hungry, it's he said you christen the Benz, then the devil's due. It's a price to pay for that, right? You know what I mean? That the devil's due. It's gonna bring out them youths, man. It's going to bring out the demons. Little wordplay there, obviously. Christen, the Benz, devil's due, religious, right? When you christen something, you're being baptized or whatever into that religion, or you become part of that. But essentially, christen the Benz, I'm just taking that as I'm saying. You whipping the Benz and them Cullinans around, man, it comes with a price. You know what I mean? You tempting the wolves.
Then they diss you again like you ain't fed them food. But if you whip colorins front of desperate youths, you Chris and a Benz, then the devil's due. Them's the rules. You made it, laying it, this bed ain't new. But let's keep it true, you know you're reckless with protects and jewels. Flexers do what flexers do, and steppers do what steppers do. Beef, looking over your shoulder every time you turn keys bout. Turn the other cheek, must the man be the bigger man? I know he's trapped the fire, but it's the massive giants. These be guessing, take it on the chin. You're an Aston buyer, and I'm biased. But my generation got the classic writers. Your gen, that's mostly your pen, you're the...
Yeah, he rapping like a motherfucker, man. Kano was really rapping because he said, you know, flexers do what he say, you know, but let's keep it true. You know what I mean? He gonna keep it real with him, you know. You're reckless with protects and jewels. Flexers do what flexers do. So you're wearing your chains, you're wearing your ice, your watches, you know, you're bringing them around like you flexing, right? You know, you probably doing a little bit too much around people who don't have as much as you do. So again, that the devils do it. It comes at you better be careful. So, but keep it real though. Don't act like you ain't out here, you know what I mean, stunting on people. We call it stunting on people in the US. And then he said, but steppers do what steppers do, though. You know, a stepper is someone who is a street dude that's willing to step to you on some street shit, meaning use guns, knives in the UK or whatever the case may be, take your money, separate you from your wealth, violent characters. So, yeah, if you want to, you can wear them chains. You can do what you do, but just understand that they're going to do what they do. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was hard. Looking over your shoulder every time you turn the keys. You know, about to turn the other cheek, you know, so understand that all that flossing is going to have you're going to have to, you know, you're going to be put in a position where you're looking over your shoulders as you're turning the keys to get into your house. Then he said something about must be a bigger man. I know he strapped the fire, but it's the massive giants. So I guess he's saying, you know, it's tough being the bigger man, being the person to turn the other cheek when you know that you're a giant is how I'm taking that. And then he said, you know, take it on the chin, though. You know what I'm saying? You're an Aston buyer. That's his way of saying, you know, when these guys try to test you or whatever the case may be, just walk away. Take it on the chin because you're on a different level, man. You're in a very privileged place in life. You're an Aston Martin, is what I'm assuming he means. Aston Martin buyer, meaning you're driving luxury cars. You got to let these dudes, these steppers, these street dudes, these people that try to test you, you just got to know how to walk away from it. So, but that was slick how he worded that.
On the chin, you're an Aston buyer, and I'm biased. But my generation got the classic writers. Your gen, that's mostly your pen, you're the rap messiah. You and Simbi, go grab the accolades that they would never give me. But that's the never story, I ain't goated for the glory. Couple trophies in my storage, pour me. Ivan Novello, don't rate a man, so be it. I was in 03 on a mic getting loaded. You think you would have flourished in my era at 140? It's quick to break your love with you, swap knowledge. But sorry, I didn't make no time back at Troxy. I watched your sound check that day, I saw promise. Then I came to your O2 show, I saw polish. But during all the pyrotechnics, I was pondering like, do you have family, politics and problems? Can you ever see when you're just someone's wallet? Have you ever smelled when a cousinship turns rotten, Tommy? Do you ever hear from your brother and start sobbing, Tommy? Have you ever touched a million and felt office, Tommy? Have you ever tasted victory and didn't want it? Those 5 senses will make sense to true bosses. I've got a 6th sense for knowing it's truly from it.
Yeah, I love a good 6th sense scheme. I love a census scheme. I never get tired. I've heard probably 1,000 census schemes in my life from rappers, man, whether it's underground or mainstream, mid-tier. I've heard them. I just never get tired of census scheme. I just think it's dope. You know what I'm saying? I love what he's asking, man, or what he's getting at here, right? But before that, it looks like he was talking about not getting his, Kano was talking about not getting his just due. And he mentioned something, is that an award show? Ivor Novella? I don't know what that is. Is that an award show? Or is that a magazine? Ivor Novella, don't rate me, man. So be it. I was in 03 on the mic getting lordy. I mean, getting busy is how I'm taking that. You think you would have flirted? And then he's saying to Dave, you think you would have survived in my era? You know what I mean? Little jab there. You think you could have handled that? You know? But I think he gave him his flowers here, man, when he said, your generation, that's mostly your pen. You're the rap messiah, you and Simbi. I don't know if that's Simba, but he said, man, when it comes to your generation, what you doing? Oh yeah, you're the rap messiah. You doing your thing. So I thought that was dope that he gave him that, that stamp. You know what I mean? Then he said, so I guess he feels like he's underrated. You know what I mean? I guess never got co-signed from the industry. Perhaps rap wasn't accepted as UK grime at that time, wasn't as accepted as it is now. I don't know. You know what I mean? But that was dope.
Sobbing told me, have you ever touched a million and felt office told me, have you ever tasted victory and didn't want it? Those 5 senses will make sense to true bosses. I've got a 6th sense for knowing is truly from it. Bond Street Donny, I know what the same cloth is, I know what the game offers. Raise.
Yeah, he's rapping, man. He started it by saying, do you have family, politics, and problems? Can you ever see when you're just someone's wallet? You know, can you ever see if you're just an ATM machine, right? When people only want you for how much money you can give them or what you can do for them. I thought that was dope. Have you ever smelled when a cousinship turns rotten? Cousinship, I'm assuming, is when you're a family, your cousin, that turns rotten, right? Or relationships, family relationships become sour for whatever reason, usually because people just act like, you know, you're not doing enough for them, I'm assuming, right? Tell me, do you ever hear from your brother and start sobbing? So I don't know what's up with his brother. Did Dave's brother die? I'm not sure about that. Oh no, he said hear. Excuse me. He said hear from your brother and start sobbing. Is Dave and his brother estranged? I'm not sure. I don't remember the story between Dave and his brother. Then he said, have you ever touched $1 million and felt offish? So have you ever touched $1 million and felt like, yo, this is crazy. Maybe I don't deserve this. Maybe survivor's guilt from getting that much money and just felt like, yeah, this isn't, you know, this doesn't seem fair. Yada yada yada. And then tell me, have you ever tasted victory and didn't want it? Those 5 senses will make sense to true bosses. I've got a 6th sense for knowing who's truly from it. Then he said something about the cloth. Same cloth. I know what the game offers. So if you know what's up with what I'm talking about, that means you solidified as a boss. But again, him running through the 5 senses and then saying he has a 6th sense, right? He's got a 6th sense. He's got this intuition of knowing who's really from the right cloth.
Bond Street Donny, I know what the same cloth is, I know what the game offers. Raise boffin, make offin, the sunshine to the leg and coffin. Legacy.
Yeah, the bake off them.
They remember me, Dave?
Man, I guess we don't know, that's why we wake up, go get it by ourselves. And I love to tell you yes, but bro, I question that myself. Health, wealth, happiness, all somebody really needs. And some water I could give to my seed. Heart cold like Courchevel, Chanel, tortoiseshell glasses that I bought this girl, told the world, love, I can't seem to find it. This is shit I do for women, I don't even like them. Bro, I need some guidance.
Right, bro, I ain't no relationship advisor, but all of this defense won't make you striker. God loves a trier, David loves a liar.
He said all of this defense won't make you strike her. I'm not a big soccer guy, but I'm assuming that's a soccer reference, a striker. I know that's a position in soccer, so all this defense won't make you striker. I think that's a soccer play, but it won't make you, because Dave kind of at the start of the verse was talking about just his struggles with finding love. And I just think that, in this defense, I guess Dave was on the defense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like health, first he said health, wealth, happiness. That's all somebody really needs. And then he went into, he has a cold heart, right? He said heart cold. And then he went into why his heart is cold, or he compared it to things. So, he's guarded, right? So he's on the defense. But he said, but then Kano responded by saying, well, all this defense won't make you strike her, right? Soccer play, but also it won't help you find love. But he said, I ain't no relationship advisor. I just thought, yeah, but that was slick. And I like the back and forth. I like how Dave started his verse, right? He kind of got his shit off. Kano got his verse off. And now they're doing a back and forth. I think the way the song is structured is really dope as well. Yeah, let's keep it going.
God loves a trier, David loves a liar. But even the harm's half a heart, so I could Cupid fire. Hey, where she from this time? Do your thing, bro. Every time I see you, new thing, bro. Cause you don't date, you do a lingo.
I ain't pick, bro. I don't know.
Yo, Kano's on some other shit, man. Yeah, give me more requests for Kano. Or give me suggestions for what you want me to do from Kano. I'm a believer now. Sorry it took me long. I'm gonna make sure I let Ryan know on Lost to Vegas so we can do more Kano. He is fire. What do you say? God loves a trier, David loves a liar, but even harp's half a heart, right? A harp is essentially half a heart, right? A harp. Even harp's half a heart, so why could Cupid fire? Harp's, obviously, David's album, or excuse me, David, but Dave's album is obviously the boy who played the harp, and even harp's half a heart. So I know it's a play on his album title, but why could Cupid fire? And before that, Dave was talking about his struggles in romance, and he said, but that all that defense will make you striker. So I think he's saying that even with half a heart, you have a chance. I guess you have a chance to get hit by Cupid. You have a chance to find love. If that's kind of how I'm taking it. The way he worded that is interesting. But even harp's half a heart, so why could Cupid fire? so why could? Is that what he said? You know what I'm saying? So even Cupid, you even have a chance with finding love is what he's saying. Maybe he's giving him some hope in that department. You know what I'm saying? But he did say, every time I see you, you got a new ting, you got a new joint, you got a new girl, and then he said something about, because you don't date, you Duolingo. I think that's his way of saying he's using Duolingo to deal with women from different, areas around the world. Is that what he's saying? He's not settling down. He's too busy jet setting. You know what I'm saying? So that's slick. Getting women from around the world is what he's saying, using a translator to help him get women. All right, cool.
Fire. Hey, where she from this time? Do your thing, bro. Every time I see you, new thing, bro. Cause you don't date, you do a lingo.
Hey, big bro, I don't know where you got that info, but that wasn't me. I need that in record and in rhyme. But still, I love the game, it's enticing. I moved out west and it's nice, and these days we
Your
drive.
lifestyle bougie. I used to push a silver Porsche with 2 seats. Now the back's cozy, baby seats in an SUV. You know I've been Nige and I never had a goosey.
Blood, what was you eating?
Fried plantain.
You ain't had the pepper suit, G, and it's plantain, but trust me, that's all Gucci. Listen, I was in Jamaica having cow foot soup in the middle of Greenwich, like I'm a real ghetto. You touch Uptown Monday and my Achilles gone.
Yeah, they just flexing. They just trade and flex. To me, they just, kind of like Cameron and Dame. I think Cameron and Dame, when they were cool at one point, Cameron would call Dame on the phone. They would put it on the internet, and they would just talk about, they would brag about how many houses they got. Cameron be like, yeah, I'm in my second house right now. And he'd be on the phone with Dame. He'd be like, oh yeah, that's cute. That's cute. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't got 3 houses though. So I feel like that's the equivalent of what they're doing now. Like, Dave was just like, leather backs, Cosby baby seats in the SUV, I'm assuming that's just their way of flossing and just talking about how much money they get and, bragging a little bit is what it seems like to me.
I don't fuck with it, gang, just still I'm building up a zoo. Got me feeling like I must really have eyes in the back of my head. Range Rover, television, the interior. Red fell asleep in the whip, the car, I feel like a bed. I just wanna give thanks for this life.
Look, mic check 1, 2, 3 school dinners. Now we sacked off the Saxa for sea salt living. And go funding to bring back peaceful villains. Call these 38 years, that's an evil sentence, like I don't love you no more.
That was tough. I like how he said peaceful villains, right? What did he say? To bring back peaceful villains? I'm GoFunding to bring back peaceful villains. I think that's his way of saying I'm starting up a GoFundMe to bring back peaceful villains. Villains meaning someone that's not the good guy. So I'm assuming. Then he said 38 years. That's an evil sentence. So he's talking about people locked up, peaceful villains. Dudes locked up in jail. Then he's starting to GoFundMe to free his guys, man, that may have been locked down, and he said peaceful villains, you know what I'm saying? So maybe people who didn't commit violent crimes is how I'm taking that. So maybe got caught up in some drug shit and got 38 years. That's an evil sentence. That's like insane seems like what would probably be something petty. I'm not sure if that's what he's saying, but I think that's what it is when he says peaceful villains. That was dope.
To bring back peaceful villains. Call these 38 years, that's an evil sentence, like I don't love you no more. Dave, I used to be married to the game, I'm a husband no more. All these SM7Bs ain't for us like before. Mike, Billie Jean on that, they just discuss couple wars.
And they shortchange us, paper change.
Kato talking, man. He said, what did he say? These SM7Bs, me and Ryan, we got a couple SM7Bs, so we use those microphones. Those are microphones that are used for, podcasts. So I think that's his way of saying. He said all these SM7Bs ain't for us like before. You know what I mean? Like we're being replaced by people who are talking about couple wars on podcasts is what it sounds like. He said Mike Billie Jean on that. Mike was making Billie Jean on those same microphones. Now they discuss couple wars. Now these same microphones are used for these silly ass podcasts talking about, silly ass Mars versus Venus podcast. That was slick how he said that though.
All these SM7Bs ain't for us like before. Mike, Billie Jean on that, they just discuss couple wars.
And they shortchange us. Paper chasing all good till it's divorce papers. Newspapers, court papers, they all ride my wheels. They gon' talk about your wants till they divide your wills. That's how family feels.
Dave fighting back, boy. Fighting back. Yeah, that was hard, Dave. They're going to talk about your wants, not wants, but your wants until they divide your wills. That's a little slick wordplay on will and won't, you know what I mean? So essentially they're going to talk about what you won't do for them until you're dead in a casket and they're dividing your will, your last will and testament, your assets. So they're going to talk about what you don't do for them until they finally get, until they pry your money out of your cold dead hands or whatever, what have you, right? And he said paper chasing, all good till it's divorce papers. I thought that was slick too. Paper chasing, running and trying to get money, chasing the money is good until it's divorce papers.
Papers, they all ride my wheels. They gon' talk about your wants till they divide your wills. That's how family feels, growing up so fast. 26, feeling like our lives on timers. Lines in the face,
He said that's how family feels, right? They're gonna talk about your wants until they divide your will. You know what I mean? So, and then he said that's how family feels. So when he says divorce papers, maybe he's talking about, as you become rich and you become, and you've amassed a certain amount of wealth, it's cool when you're getting to the money, you're chasing money, but then what comes with this is, maybe even within your own family, opportunists and people that just only see you. They said this earlier in the verse, only see you as a wallet, So paper chasing is cool till it's divorce papers. So when you get a wife, when you do fall in love and you settle down, it's cool when you get the money until you have to deal with getting a divorce, which means you getting half. You giving up half. You know what I'm saying? Is how I'm taking that line. I just had to rewind it to kind of check it. So yeah, that was dope. Real too.
feels, growing up so fast. 26, feeling like our lives on timers. Lines in the face, you getting fillers to hide it. And hoes lying about their age like Nigerian strikers. Sorry, waiter, can I get this food in containers? Had to move, it was dangerous. Seen beautiful places. Bro, I used to have braces. Now it's my driver that's on a retainer. But that's just testament to God and his favor. And bro, I wanted a favor.
He said, I used to have braces. Now it's my driver that's on a retainer. That was hard. When you get braces, after your braces are taken off, then they give you a retainer to hold your teeth in place, and you have to wear that basically for the rest of your life, once, to keep your teeth straight. But so that's a play on braces, retainer, but also his driver's on retainer. You know what I mean? So I used to have braces. I used to be maybe the nerdy kid, or I had crooked teeth. So that's his way of saying, that's his way of expressing his come up. I used to have braces. Now, my driver's on retainer. And then obviously when you have a driver on retainer, you're paying a driver, you have him on retainer. You have a driver ready at all times to take you where you need to go, meaning you get money to have a driver. So I thought that was a little slick wordplay there.
Bro, I used to have braces, now it's my driver that's on a retainer. But that's just testament to God and his favor. And bro, I wanted a favor. Let's see each other more, catch up and make beats. Cause the fans, they miss you, I know the fans, they miss.
So when he said hoes lying like Nigerians, lying about their age like Nigerian strikers, I'm assuming that that's a thing. Nigerian soccer players lie about their age. I don't know if that's to what? To get into, to be in certain leagues, to qualify for certain leagues or whatever. It's a fly, excuse me. Women who are opportunists, who get face fillings and all this other stuff. You know what it is, man. The IG baddie, the IG baddie, what is it? Kit that women are getting these days, BBL, Botox, big ass fish lips, all that, you know the package.
Let's see each other more, catch up and make beats. Cause the fans, they miss you, I know the fans, they miss me. Let's make a track about this dinner and the stamp you gave me and base it on the book of Samuel, call it chapter 16 if you're down.
Okay.
I'm down.
I'm telling you, be sick, man.
Was it? Was it?
No. That's not.
If you must. If you must.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. I mean, okay. I'm gonna do it. I mean,
It was worth it.
but they was saying something when they put that on your side of the table. But I don't know, man. I guess you're.
Okay. Yeah, that was dope, man. I mean, this is gonna be another one of those songs, man, where I have to give it up from an artistic standpoint. I mean, I thought the creativity of Dave having a conversation with his mentor over dinner, and just asking him how does he navigate, fame and being a big dog, and coming from the streets, coming from where they come from, and then rising up, and all that comes with that. I thought him just reaching out to him just to kind of get some advice, I thought was really, really dope. And I thought Kano, both of them giving him and also giving him his flowers and giving him his just due, like, yo, you were an inspiration to me. And also Kano doing the same thing, like, yo, passing the torch, like, here, you next, baby. You got it. You know what I mean? You the rap messiah now. And but also and then the back and forth between them, I thought in the third verse again, how the song was structured. Dave expressed himself, Kano expressed himself, and then they went back and forth. almost in conversation format. I love back and forths in hip hop, period. So I thought that was really, really dope. And yeah, man, it's got a lot of substance in this, man, you know, and what comes with fame, right? You know, you gotta the pitfalls that come with fame is what they touched on, and you know, and they talk about your wants, and you know, and divide until they divide your wills, you know. So these are things that come with the territory, you know, wearing jewelry and flexing around people who are desperate for, you know, for money or don't have as much. You know, he's just giving them game. Flexers do what flexers do, but steppers do what steppers do. Just I'm saying, so just be careful, you know. So just the OG, you know, giving game to the young mentee, the mentor giving game to the mentee. And I thought this was really dope, man. Very creative. And I'm assuming Kano, I don't know if this was a long-awaited sort of thing with Kano and Dave or if they've collabed before, but I'm assuming for the UK, this is probably a big deal, I would imagine. Give me some feedback in the comments. Was this a big deal seeing these two dudes, Kano from the old school, connect with Dave, who's now the current guy on the UK scene? So I'm sure that this was a pretty big deal, man. As far as this being a song that I can listen to, I'm going to file this under a great artistic piece, artistic song, creative, all the things that I mentioned. You know what I mean? Substance. It's got a little introspection for both. It's, you know, a little vulnerability as well from both. Dave talking about not being able to find love. All those things, man. If I put my critic hat on and and I have a certain sort of criteria that I have to look at, oh, they're checking all the artistic boxes, and this is a very high quality song to me. It's just not something I can see myself go back to, man. This is something that I feel like can be done in a play. You know, a play format would be dope. In that format, I feel like I would appreciate something like this more. I would pay money. I think hip hop really needs to get into Broadway. Something like this on Broadway would be dope, but I don't think there's enough in the production to really keep my attention. It's just kind of like a piano in the background, and it was fine. And just this conversational sort of format to me, just musically, just isn't enough to keep it just wouldn't be enough to keep my attention to listen to this consistently. So not something that I see a lot of replay value with. That's kind of been a thing with Dave. It's always an appreciation for him. I acknowledge that he's dope, but replaying his music is always tough for me. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, this is a dope track from Dave. Give me more suggestions for Kano and Dave too off of this album. I know that you guys said The Boy with the Harp, and I think it was my 27th birthday. You know, we've done other birthday joints from Dave. We've done a few, I believe. So let me know what y'all want me to do to this from this album, but also definitely give me more from Kano. I'm very curious about getting back to him. You know what I'm saying? But that's the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed it, man, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit that notification bell. And yeah, be on the lookout for more from me on Rhyme Rate. I'm George. Rhyme Rate out.